Hello guys, this is your friend and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is What If Naruto Got Harem with Multiple Women's Part 4. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this and comment for next part. And now let's start the fanfic. I'm sure there wouldn't have, as we have similarities to the way people look at us for what we hold inside us. But I was young and naive then, and like I said earlier scared as well. Naruto said, but why would the Yondaime choose you? I'm sure he could have chosen any number of people to take the burden. Lee asked, unusually calm after listening to what Naruto had to say. That, Lee, is a very good question. It also brings me to the other part of what I wanted to talk to you about. During my time in ANBU I found out who my parents were. Naruto said. Now that statement alone was enough to get everyone's attention again. Really? That's great Naruto, who were they? Sakura asked, happy that her old teammate had finally found a part of his childhood he was missing. Some of the Junin might know my mother, she was the only kunoichi said to be on par with Ba-chan over there. Naruto said, as he pointed at Tsunade, her name was Kushina Uzumaki, and before me, she was the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. She was brought to Konoha from Uzushiogakure, village hidden by the whirling tides. When she was young, her chakra was very special, easily able to bind the Kyuubi, although she didn't have access to its chakra as I do. As far as I know, aside from myself she was the last of our clan. I've never heard of the Uzumaki clan before, why is that? Sakura asked. The Uzumaki clan was renowned worldwide for their skills in both Fuinjutsu, and their fearsome Kenjutsu style, said to be one of the strongest in all the elemental nations. For that reason, Uzushiogakure was wiped out during the Second Great Shinobi War. The symbol on the back of the Chunin and Junin flak jackets is actually the symbol of my clan and homeland, as we are distant relatives of the Senju. Naruto said, in all honesty, I wouldn't be surprised if we were actually related Ba-chan. I would like for you to run some blood tests when this is over if you wouldn't mind. I'd be happy to Naruto. Tsunade said happily. The chance at her actually having a family member, even if it was small, was something she wouldn't pass up. Thank you, Naruto said with a smile, then continued, the fact that my mother and father were together was a very well kept secret, as my father had many enemies both in and out of the village, and only a handful of people actually knew they were together. 2 of those people are in this room right now, while the third is probably off somewhere peeking at women in the bathhouse. I remember when your father found out that Kushina was pregnant with you he had ordered me to keep a watch over her to make sure she was okay at all times, he was really paranoid about it. Kakashi said offhandedly, making the others in the room look at him. You knew about this Kakashi-sensei? Sakura asked, earning a nod from the scarecrow, why didn't you ever say anything about it then? It was never my place to tell. Kakashi shrugged, that responsibility fell to Naruto's godfather and godmother. Who were they? Ino asked. Me, as well as Jiraiya, but personal reasons kept us both away from the village for a long period of time. Although if I had known Naruto was actually still alive I would have come back a lot sooner. Tsunade said with a smile as she looked at Naruto. You had 2 out of 3 Sannin as your godparents. Kiba all but shouted, who the hell was your father? My father was from one of the lesser clans in Konoha, the Namikaze. Naruto said, making the older people in the room, aside from those that already knew, go wide-eyed with shock. Namikaze, as in Minato Namikaze, the Yondaime Hokage? Shizune asked, now shocking the rest of the genin as well. The one and only Shizune-chan. Naruto said with a smile, earning another small blush from the Hokage's assistant, one that didn't go unnoticed by both Kurenai and Yugao. I knew it, she finds him physically attractive, not that I blame her. If Naruto was to develop feelings for her I know she would eventually return them. Yugao thought as she looked at Shizune. Looks like Yugao-chan was right, Shizune seems to be attracted to Naruto. Although once what he just told us becomes public knowledge, I'm sure a lot of women will be screaming his name. Kurenai thought as well, thinking back to the conversation she had with Yugao during their mission to Wave. Unknown to those in Konoha, similar talks were going on in Kumo. Kumo, inside the Raikage's office. Are you 100% sure this is true? A very large man asked as he looked at the man sitting across from him. Yes, Asama, there is no doubt in my mind that the Konoha ninja I saw was the son of Minato Namikaze, Yondaime Hokage of Konoha. The small man said, making the Raikage smirk. I see, this could be either good or bad, depending on how we play our cards. Do you know if any of our ninja had a chance to see him before or after the meeting? The Raikage asked. I know Yugito had talked to him before. She left early in the afternoon and didn't come until later in the evening. She told us it would be unwise to anger the Konoha nin, although she didn't say why exactly. But when I saw him the next day it made sense. The boy radiates a powerful aura that demands respect. The man said, thank you for delivering this bit of news to me. On your way out could you tell my secretary to call for Yugito and be for me? The Raikage asked, earning a nod from the man before he bowed slightly and left. Back in Konoha. It makes sense really. Shikamaru started. Naruto is pretty much a spitting image of Yondaime. I'm surprised we didn't realize it earlier. But I'm going to assume that the reason you didn't know about it was for the same reason he kept his relationship a secret, right? As usual, you're right, Shikamaru. Sandaime thought it would be been best for me to learn about it after I had become Chunin. I would have had the skills to at least defend myself by that point. But because I went into ANBU before I could get into a second Chunin exams, I was told after about a year by Ba-chan. Naruto explained. I believe that is also the reason he chose to seal the Kyuubi inside of me. I know if I were to be in that position it would be very hard for me to ask someone else to sacrifice their child. Do you hate your father for what he did to you? Sakura asked, making Naruto shake his head. I might have a little when I first found out, but if it wasn't for him sealing the Kyuubi inside of me I wouldn't be where I am today, or the person that I am. Granted, I might have had an easier time in school, more friends, and wouldn't have to deal with the bloodthirsty fox, but I don't think I would have matured as fast as I had to, or learned to deal with hardships from an early age like I did. Naruto replied, I wanted to tell you guys this before announcing it to the village as a whole. As the people that are closest to me, I thought you would deserve to hear it directly from me, in person. When do you plan on announcing it to the village, Naruto-kun? Yugao asked. I don't know for sure. I know that Ba-chan and I will have to have a meeting with the council first, and choose what name I want to take, so probably a day or two after the next council meeting. Naruto replied, then turned to Tsunade. I think I want to keep my mother's name Ba-chan. Are you sure, Naruto? We discussed taking both names. I'm sure it would be fine with the council. Tsunade replied. I'm sure this is what I want, Ba-chan. The Uzumaki were well known and feared throughout the elemental nations, while the Namikaze were just a small clan that didn't have much. Having the Uzumaki clan reborn in Konoha would add a great military asset to our village. The Uzumaki Kenjutsu style would be even more dangerous given my Namikaze heritage, which has made me faster and able to react quicker to incoming attacks. The Namikaze and Uzumaki were also well versed in their own Fuinjutsu, and I've been able to learn a little from both styles, and I'm currently trying to combine the two into one style. Also, from what I've heard, I act a lot more like my mother than my father. Naruto explained, earning a nod from the busty Hokage. I see, you do remind me a lot of Kushina-chan brat. Tsunade said with a smile, making Naruto smile in turn. If that is what you want, Naruto, then I have no intention of arguing with you. We can discuss it when we go to see the council about announcing your heritage. Thank you, Ba-chan, Naruto said with a smile, then, getting a sudden though, turned back to his friends. Another thing you need to know about is the Akatsuki, a criminal organization of S-ranked criminals. I've had a couple run-ins with them already, as have Kurenai, Asuma, Guy, and Kakashi-sensei. Naruto said. Why do we need to know about them? Kiba asked. Aside from the fact they are a group of S-ranked missing nins, as I just said, they are after the 9 Jinchuriki, that obviously means that Gaara and I are targets, and a Junin from Kumo. Itachi Uchiha is part of their group, as well as his partner Kisame, who you 4 had the pleasure of fighting. Naruto said, as he pointed to the 4 older Junin in the room. Even the 4 of you combined couldn't take them out. The only reason I wasn't taken that day is because Jiraiya made in it time between Sasuke foolishly challenged his older brother and paid the price for me. Do we know anything about any other members? Kurenai asked, remembering how easily Itachi had defeated her. As of right now, we don't have a lot of information about them, only that they work in groups of 2 at all times. Orochimaru used to be a part of their group as well, so we can only assume a group that holds company like that will be powerful. Naruto said. In truth, they had information on most of their members thanks to a little weasel that Naruto learned about after a couple years in ANBU, however that was classified information, and he did not feel like making up an excuse as to how they knew so much. However, the point I'm trying to get across is that at all of your current levels, a run-in with an Akatsuki member like Itachi or Kisame would most likely lead to your death in a one-on-one confrontation. The only people in Konoha right now who might be able to deal with someone like Itachi or Kisame would be myself, Ero Sennin, and Ba-chan. Asuma, Yugao-chan, Kakashi-sensei, and Guy might be able to fight them to a draw, and while I hate to say this Kurenai, with your limited ability in both taijutsu and ninjutsu, going up against them by yourself would be suicidal. I hate to admit it, Naruto, but you're right. My specialty is genjutsu, and going up against Itachi, and the person nicknamed the Tailless Biju, with only genjutsu wouldn't end well for me. Kurenai said dejectedly. Yes, however, Naruto started, earning her attention, since you need the most help, I will make you an offer. I'm listening. Kurenai replied. I will offer to train you in both taijutsu and ninjutsu, and I can offer you a wide variety of weapons training as well, from ninjutsu to bow staffs. Naruto said, making Kurenai's eyes widen. I don't know Naruto, Kurenai said. She wasn't sure how having someone younger than her giving her lessons would affect her reputation within Konoha. If you are worried about the difference in age, I'll have you know that I've taught Yugao-chan a few things, as well as Kakashi. But if it would make you feel better, I'm sure that whenever I'm not helping Yugao train, she would be willing to help you. She is living with me after all, and I have given her full access to my family's jutsu library. Wait, why make Kurenai-sensei this offer, but not any of us? Kiba asked. I made Kurenai this offer because, as we said earlier, with her limited skills in taijutsu and ninjutsu, she wouldn't be able to do much of anything if she was to run into Akatsuki. At the same time, most of you have clans to learn from, while Sakura and Ino are both learning from Tsunade. So I made her the offer because you all have available sources to learn from, while Kurenai is not so lucky. Naruto replied. Wait, you said you were proficient in a variety of weapons, right, Naruto? Tenten asked, receiving a nod as her reply. Would you want to spar sometime? I would like to see how my mastery of weapons matches up to yours. That would be fine with me. You will have to catch me at a time when I'm not busy though. If anyone else wants to spar sometime, the same rules apply, although I will not be able to help you all with training. Naruto said, earning nods from around the room. That's all I wanted to talk about today, Ba-chan, so if you don't mind, me and Yugao-chan will be leaving to go get some training in. Naruto started, then turned back to Kurenai. Think about my offer, please, Kurenai. Having a good reputation means nothing if you're dead. Tsuki, Ayame Nisan, Iruka, you are all welcome at my compound whenever you want, or if you are ever in need of anything, do not hesitate to ask. We should get lunch before training, Naruto-kun. Yugao said, earning a nod from Naruto as they disappeared via Shunshin. I can't believe it, Tsuki started, earning everyone's attention. What, Tsuki-san? Kakashi asked. The son of the Yondaime was my #1 customer. Think of the business I will get once word of his heritage gets out. Tsuki replied happily. causing his daughter to sweat drop. Back in Kumo, Yugito fidgeted slightly as she stood across from both A and B, slowly digesting the information she had just learned about a certain blonde she met during her mission to Wave. So, you're telling me that Konoha's Reaper is not only a Jinchuriki like B and I, but is also the last of two clans, those being the Namikaze and Uzumaki? Yugito asked, earning a nod from A. It's a good thing I didn't get into a fight with him then, she said nervously, trying to lighten the mood a little. You are also lucky that while we are on shaky terms with Konoha, we are not outright allies. From what you told me of him, he could have killed you, regardless of if you had used the Nibi's chakra or not. A said, I believe he would know our ambassador would recognize him, which is probably why he told you of his status. He wanted to let you know in advance that fighting him would be a battle that you would not be able to win. That may be true, but he also gave me a lot of information about this group, the Akatsuki, and even went as far as giving me a reverse summoning tag in the chance I ran into them. If I may, A-sama, I would suggest trying to make an ally out of Konoha. Naruto is powerful now, but I can tell that he still has a lot of room to grow. Along with that, they still have 2 out of the 3 Sannin in and around the village. And I don't need to remind you about their growing list of a ranked Junin in the bingo books from across the elemental nations. Yugito said nervously, watching Iza seem to think about her proposal. I will think about it, Yugito. Both you and B are important to me, along with others in our village. The threat of the Akatsuki is not one to be taken lightly. And while I hate to admit it, Konoha does have higher caliber Junin than we do, and while we have both you and B, you said earlier that the last Namikaze would be able to defeat you should a fight between the two of you occur, and between him, Jiraiya, Tsunade and Kakashi, they would probably be able to take out B eventually as well. A replied, earning a nod from Yugito, I can't help but feel that there is something more at work here though, so for now unless specifically asked by me, I don't want either of you going too far from the village. Of course A-sama, be careful of any missions you accept for us though, the council has never really liked B and I. Yugito said before being dismissed. I can't rap and found it really hard to make a rhyming sentence that made sense, so B will probably not rap his sentences out in this story. Our little kitty seems to think highly of the young Namikaze bro. Killer B said, earning a nod from the rakage. Yes she does, perhaps we could use that to our advantage if peace talks come up. A replied, your brat sure has made a name for himself Minato, it's only a matter of time before he surpasses you. Later that night, in Konoha. After a quick lunch at the dango shop, Naruto and Yugao had spent most of the afternoon training. Both had spent a little bit of time going through the Namikaze and Uzumaki clan libraries before picking out a few scrolls each to practice with. Yugao had chosen a Kenjutsu scroll to study, along with a few Suiten jutsus. Naruto had taken some of his father's notes pertaining to the Hiraishin and had spent most of the afternoon looking over them. After their training was finished, Yugao had told him she wanted to hang out with her friends, and left Naruto to his own devices. Having nothing better to do, Naruto decided to walk around Konoha, being able to enjoy Konoha's nightlife for the first time since he had joined ANBU. Over the past few days he had a lot of time to think over the conversation he and Inari had had during his stay in Wave. He wasn't confused about how he felt, he knew that he liked Yugao, but there were a few things that stopped him from acting on his feelings. The first was Hayate. He knew that Yugao, while not as much as she was before, was still in pain over her ex-fiancé's death during the Chunin exams. The second was the fact that he was a clan head, and would probably be asked to be placed in the CRA. While not wanting to be forced to take more than one wife, his desire to keep his mother's clan living outweighed those thoughts, and he didn't think Yugao would want to be a part of something like that. Thinking about the CRA brought him to another train of thoughts, not wanting to be forced into a loveless marriage, which he thought was most likely to happen. What's bothering you, Naruto? He heard, and turned to see Kakashi walking out of one of the stalls he had just passed. Hey Kakashi-sensei, I'm troubled by certain things regarding being a clan head. Naruto replied as Kakashi fell into step beside him. You mean the CRA, and I'm going to go out on a limb and also guess what that means regarding a certain purple-haired ex-ANBU of mine, right? Kakashi said, making Naruto nod. You know too much for your own good, Kakashi-sensei. He replied, earning a shoulder shrug from his old sensei. I saw the same look on your father's face when the council had asked him to join the CRA. Luckily for him though, Kushina had shot the idea down before they could convince him to go along with it. Your mother could be quite convincing, if she wanted to be. Kakashi said, as for the issue regarding Yugao, I've caught you looking at her the same way you used to look at Sakura. I may not have been a good sensei when you were younger, but I got to know you a lot better during your time in ANBU. My father was asked to be part of the CRA as well. I thought the Namikaze was just a small-time clan. Naruto asked. They were. However, Minato was a special case. Your father was an extremely powerful man, Naruto, both well respected and feared. While you take a lot from your mother, you also have a lot of qualities that your father had. If we were to have more shinobi like you in the village, Kakashi said, then the Namikaze clan would have become a very powerful clan for Konoha to have. I see. Naruto finished. But you also said that I have a lot of traits from my mother, who was also very powerful in her own right. My father would have had to marry powerful Kunoichi for something like that to work, not some merchant's daughter. Yes, he would have, but for your father that wouldn't have been an issue. He was a very popular man among many people, Kunoichi included. Kakashi said, you seem to be following quite closely in his footsteps, I might add. What do you mean? Naruto asked. From what I've seen, you seem to be quite popular as well with both the civilian and shinobi population. People seem to be quite jealous that you and Yugao seem to be quite close to each other. Kakashi said, I've also noticed that you are getting a lot of female attention even as we speak. Naruto took a look around. Kakashi had been right. He saw quite a bit of the female population looking at him with want in their eyes. I see what you mean, however I do not want a relationship built on what clans I come from, or who my father was. I also don't want to be wed to some spoiled merchant's daughter. Naruto replied, if I decide to accept the CRA, I will have a couple years to find suitable wives before the council starts to just push people on me. Hopefully I can figure something out in that time. I'm sure that you will, Naruto. I would recommend starting with people that you already know. I know of a few people who already seem to have taken an interest in you. Kakashi said, getting Naruto's attention. However, I am not going to reveal who those people are, because that would ruin the fun. I should have known that you wouldn't, Kakashi-sensei. I know at least one person who seems to have feelings for me, but I have to admit her feelings are based on fake grounds. I am not, and never was the person she thought me to be. Naruto said, earning a nod from Kakashi. Hinata, you mean? She is powerful in her own right, even if she doesn't know it. She is also very beautiful, but I have to agree that her feelings are based on the old you, at least the one you wanted everyone to believe was you. Kakashi replied, I would recommend talking to her about it soon. If you leave it for much longer, it will be harder for her to understand. I know, I wanted to talk to her about it on the mission we went on, but things came up and I never got the chance. I care for Hinata, just not in the same way she cares for me. I need to think of a way to tell her where I won't hurt her too much. Naruto said, I can't help you there, Naruto. In a way, she is as bad as Sakura was with Sasuke, she just doesn't outwardly show it. She is too shy, lacking in self-confidence from how her family treats her to be able to express how she feels. However, I think I should confront her before she gains the courage to tell me. It would be an even bigger hit to her confidence if after finally getting the courage to tell someone her feelings they don't share them. Naruto replied, well, you have time to think about it. Kurenai and her old team left on a mission a couple hours ago and probably won't be back for a few days. Kakashi said, I see, thanks Kakashi-sensei. Maybe I'll ask Yugao about it. Naruto replied, earning a nod from Kakashi before deciding to go back home. Next morning, somewhere in the land of grass, Itachi woke slowly. Having spent the night outside instead of in a cave, his eyes needed time to adjust. Looking around, his eyes narrowed slightly. Kisame had been with him the night before, but now he was nowhere to be found, and Kisame had never walked off without telling Itachi about where he was going. I see you're awake now, Itachi-san. That's good because we have a lot to discuss. A voice said. Turning, Itachi came face to face with deep purple eyes. Then talk. I am in the middle of hunting for the 9 tails. Itachi said emotionlessly. You would do well to remember your place while talking to a god, Itachi-san. I've come to let you know that you are no longer a part of the Akatsuki. I've received information recently that has made me question your loyalty towards me. Rather than take a chance, I've decided to deal with you myself. Pain said as he got into a fighting stance. I'm not strong enough to fight Pain and come out the victor. I need to create an opportunity to get away. How could he have known I was working for Konoha though? I didn't think Toby would tell him. Itachi thought as he made distance between himself and the Rinnegan user, activating his Sharingan. The Sharingan is useless against these eyes, Itachi. You cannot hope to defeat me. Pain said. We will see. Itachi replied before going through a set of hand signs. Kaden. Hosenka no Jutsu. Itachi said as he spit 6 fireballs towards the leader of the Akatsuki, who merely scoffed as he waited for them to get close. Shinra Tensei. He said calmly as a gravitational force was pushed from his body, dissipating the fireballs Itachi had sent at him. He then charged at Itachi to engage in taijutsu, sending a flurry of kicks and punches towards the Uchiha who, thanks to his Sharingan, was able to evade most of the attacks. Ducking a kick that was sent for his head, Itachi tried to counter with a jab to the body as he saw an opening in Pain's defense. Much to Itachi's shock, however, Pain spun quickly, using his left hand to swat Itachi's punch away, while using his right to punch Itachi in the face, sending him skidding backwards. How did you see that attack? Itachi asked. He then tensed as he saw the 5 other paths of Pain land in the clearing. Things just went from bad to worse for the Uchiha. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Itachi said as he made 2 clones of himself, before they went through a set of hand signs. Kaden. Gokaku no Jutsu. The clones said as they shot 2 large fireballs towards Pain, forcing the prey to path absorb one while Diva used Shinra Tensei to deflect the other. And if you enjoy this fanfic, then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this and comment for next part. And now let's start the fanfic. The 2 clones then ran in behind the fireball, hoping to take out the prey to path as he finished absorbing the fireball, but were stopped by the Asura path. Bunshin Babakua, Itachi said, causing the 2 clones to explode, creating a large layer of smoke around the clearing. Using this as an opportunity to escape, Itachi quickly made 2 more shadow clones before having them split off in different directions. It would seem he got away, Leader Sama. A large blue man with shark-like features said as he came out of the forest after the smoke had cleared. It doesn't matter. He will die whether it's by my hand or someone else's. Pain replied, before a beautiful woman with blue hair landed beside him. What do you want us to do about him, Pain? The woman asked. Conan, I want you to take Kisame and track him down. I don't care how you do it, just make sure you kill him. He will regret the day he tested the powers of a god. Pain said, earning a nod from Conan, who then spared a glance at the large shark-like man before taking off in the direction she felt Itachi go. Kisame, do not fail me, and make sure you get his ring. Pain said before using a shunshin to leaving Kisame alone in the clearing. So Itachi was a spy this whole time, huh? This could make things interesting if he gets away. Kisame said to himself, and then left in the same direction Conan had gone a few moments before. Konoha. Few hours later. Tsunade was sitting behind her desk doing paperwork, when a sudden tapping sound was heard from her window. Turning around, she was shocked to see a large crow sitting on the other side of the window, scroll held in its beak. Tsunade opened the window before taking the scroll from the crow, which then disappeared in a puff of smoke. That's strange. The only person I remember having a summoning contract with the crows was Tsunade thought, before eyes going wide and quickly opening the scroll. Shit. Tsunade said, before yelling for Shizune. What is it, Tsunade-sama? Shizune said as she entered the office. Get me Naruto, Yugao, Kakashi and Guy quickly. Tell Kakashi this is an S-ranked mission and not to be late. She said, earning a quick nod from Shizune who sent for the people Tsunade had called for. 5 minutes later, the 4 ninjas Tsunade had called for were standing at attention in front of her desk. What did you call us here for, Tsunade-sama? Naruto asked seriously. I've just received an urgent message. ANBU code name Weasel has been compromised and has requested immediate help at ANBU Safe House D, located on the border of the Land of Fire and the Land of Grass. Tsunade said, making Naruto's and Kakashi's eyes widen. Who is Weasel, Naruto-kun? Yugao asked, hearing the blonde sigh. Weasel is Itachi Uchiha. But Itachi is a criminal. He slaughtered his clan. How could he still be working for Konoha? Yugao said, causing Naruto to sigh. Yugao-chan, there are certain things pertaining to the Uchiha massacre that are almost as big a secret as my heritage. Naruto said. He then glanced at Tsunade, who in turn nodded, knowing what Naruto wanted. I'm going to ask both you and Guy-san to not interrupt me as I explain everything that happened prior to that night. Can I get a guarantee from both of you for that? Of course, Naruto-kun, Yugao said, as Guy nodded his head. Thank you. It pretty much started during the time of the second Hokage when Tobirama-sama created the Uchiha police force, and forced their clan to the outskirts of the village. Having believed they were the most powerful clan in Konoha, they took it as an insult that they were forced to the outskirts of Konoha. From that point onward, the Uchiha felt segregated from the rest of Konoha. They received constant suspicion and discrimination that eventually led to their hatred of the village. They planned to use Itachi as a spy for the Uchiha clan, but Itachi was smarter than they though. He knew that an uprising of the Uchiha would most likely lead to another shinobi war, so he became a double agent, telling Konoha of the Uchiha's planned coup d'etat. Naruto started, surprising both Guy and Yugao, before Kakashi continued. Itachi was convinced by Danzo that killing his entire clan was the only viable option for stopping the rebellion, and Itachi agreed to it under the terms that Sandaime-sama would watch over and care for Sasuke. After the massacre, Itachi infiltrated the Akatsuki, and has been providing Konoha with information on them ever since. Kakashi said, making Tsunade nod, confirming his explanation. Did Itachi manage to say who discovered him? Or who is currently following him? Naruto asked, earning a nod from Tsunade. Yes, in his scroll he said that he was confronted by Pain, the supposed leader of Akatsuki, and engaged in combat till a time when he felt he could escape. He is currently being followed by Kisame and a woman named Konan. Tsunade said, causing Naruto's eyes to widen. That isn't good. Both Konan and Kisame are extremely dangerous opponents. You all know Kisame is an ex-Kiri no Shinobigatana, 7 swordsman of the mist, and is nicknamed the Tailless Biju for his massive chakra reserves, but Konan is someone we don't have a lot of info on. Itachi stated that she primarily uses long-range paper ninjutsu, something she was able to create after fusing her chakra into origami creations. She is known as the Angel of Aim, and supposedly is very intelligent when it comes to combat. Naruto said, she is also close to their leader Pain, and is usually always by his side. Can you tell us anything about Pain, Naruto-kun? Guy asked. I will tell you this once. If for whatever reason Pain is with Konan and Kisame, we will be forced to either flee, or fight to the death. Pain is the only known person who wields the Rinnegan, the legendary dojutsu of the Sage of the Six Paths. Even fighting together, our odds of winning against him are slim without knowing the full capabilities of his eyes. Naruto stated, shocking those present. The Rinnegan, I thought that was just a myth. Kakashi said. It was believed to be a myth because no one had been born with the Rinnegan since the Sage. However, Itachi says he had seen it with his own eyes, and that's not something Itachi would lie about. Naruto said. I'm going to assume you called us here so we could meet with Itachi at the extraction point, right? Yes, however I also called you because most of you have experience fighting with Akatsuki, or ninja close to that caliber. Guy has fought with Kisame before, and with Yugao being a kenjutsu expert, having them fight against Kisame would work well, I think. You are both close-range specialists, and according to our reports Kisame relies mainly on kenjutsu, but don't let your guard down. That leaves Kakashi and Naruto to take on Konan. Both of you are skilled in both long-range and short-range fighting, giving you an advantage in whatever way the fight turns out. Tsunade said, earning nods from the group. Naruto, since you have the most experience with Akatsuki, I want you to lead this mission. Should things go south during the mission, your main priority will be to get Itachi back to Konoha safely. We will deal with everything else then, alright? Hi. Should things go bad, I'll send a toad in advance to let you know what is going on. Hopefully we will be able to get Itachi out without having to fight. If we are forced to fight, hopefully we will be able to make them retreat. With Itachi helping us, that shouldn't be too much of an issue. That being said, I'm going to get Itachi to help Yugao and Guy fight Kisame. Having been partnered with him, Itachi would know of his fighting style, as well as any weaknesses he has. Naruto said, whatever you think is best, Naruto-kun. You should all get moving though. It will be a few days trip to get to the border of Fire Country where Itachi is going. Tsunade said, with Itachi. Itachi flinched as he felt the first of his clones pop out of existence. Konan had been less than friendly about taking care of him, and judging by the look on her face the clone saw before dispersing, she was anything but pleased. While dealing with Konan herself probably wouldn't have been an issue for the older Uchiha, he knew Kisame was with her as well, tilting the scales in their favor should a confrontation happen. He just hoped his message had reached Konoha, and that Tsunade would send him suitable backup. The clone had managed to lead Konan and Kisame a fair amount of distance away from the real him, but if they were to catch on his actual trail, he would only have a few days before they caught up with him. Giving a sigh, he stood up, stretching his body after the short break he had taken, before continuing on his way towards the border of the Land of Fire. He had had a feeling that Toby knew about him still being loyal to Konoha and working undercover in the Akatsuki. The masked man may have acted like an incompetent fool, but Itachi knew he was not someone to be provoked. If Toby knew I was a double agent, he would have known for a long time. Why would he wait till now to bring that fact to light? Something must have happened to force his hand. Itachi thought. Something big was happening, and he hoped he would be able to find the answers back in Konoha. Few days later, Naruto and his team were on guard as they approached the ANBU safe house from the cover of the forest. Stopping at the edge of the clearing, Naruto turned his head to Yugao before flashing through a few ANBU hand signs, sending her a silent message. Nodding towards her blonde teammate, Yugao closed her eyes and sent out a few waves of her chakra, looking for any signs of Itachi, or the two that had been following him. I only sense one presence, Naruto-kun. It's already inside the safe house, so I'm going to assume it's Itachi. Yugao said, earning a nod from Naruto. Alright, I agree that it's most likely Itachi, but don't let your guard down. Yugao-chan, keep your senses alert even after we go inside. Let me know immediately if you sense anyone outside. I'll go in first. Yugao-chan will be behind me, followed by Guy with Kakashi-sensei bringing up the rear. This safe house is still in operation, so be wary of traps. Naruto said, earning a collective nod before they left the cover of the treeline and made their way towards the entrance. Naruto's hand went towards the entrance but stopped as he felt a presence from right behind the door. Tensing and preparing for the worst, Naruto retracted his hand and watched as the door opened to reveal Itachi. Hello again, Naruto-kun. I'm kind of surprised Tsunade-sama would send you here. I told her 2 high-level Akatsuki members were after me. Itachi said emotionlessly as he stepped out of the bunker, no longer wearing his Akatsuki robes. I see you took some of the supplies that were left here. Naruto said as he gazed at Itachi, who was dressed in a standard ANBU uniform minus the mask. As for why I was sent here, I'm not the same person I was the last time you saw me, Weasel. I see. If you know that name, then you must have been in ANBU, fairly high ranking as well. Itachi said. If he was surprised, he didn't really show it. Maybe I was, maybe I wasn't. You will have to wait until we return to Konoha to get information like that. Naruto said. It would appear so. I'd recommend leaving as soon as possible. After escaping from pain, I created a couple shadow clones in hopes that they would lead Konan and Kisame away. One was dispelled a couple days ago, the other one ran out of chakra and dispelled on its own, leading me to believe that Konan and Kisame have found my actual trail. Itachi said, earning a nod from Naruto before a voice stopped them all. It took me a while to find you, Itachi-san. It would appear that Konoha was able to send help. That won't make a difference, you will die here today. A woman said as she landed in the clearing. Large wings made of paper formed out of her back. Konan-san, if you are here, then I'd guess Kisame isn't too far behind. Itachi said, as if on cue. A large blue man stepped out into the clearing. It's a shame you had to betray the Akatsuki, Itachi-san. I really enjoyed being your partner. Kisame said with a toothy grin, showing off his shark-like fangs. It would seem Konoha sent some high-level shinobi to assist you, including the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. The brat sure has grown since the last time I saw him. Itachi, I want you to help Yugao and Guy fight Kisame. The three of you together should be able to either kill him or seriously wound him. Kakashi and I will deal with Konan. Naruto said, earning a nod before the group split off to fight their respective opponents. With Naruto and Kakashi raced through the trees, hoping to lead Konan away from the others so they could focus on their fight with Kisame without having to worry about Konan interfering. Landing in a clearing a short distance away, Naruto and Kakashi stood back to back, waiting for Konan to make her move. They didn't have to wait long as a hail of paper kunai rained in from above, forcing them to use kawarimi to dodge. Looking up, they saw Konan hovering slightly above the treeline, face set into a deep frown. I didn't expect Konoha to send their Jinchuriki, along with Sharingan no Kakashi. This could complicate things. I'll have to take care of you both quickly and help Kisame with Itachi. Konan said as she floated down to the ground and got into an offensive stance. Don't think that you will be able to defeat us so easily, Konan-san. Naruto replied as he unsealed his ninjutsu while Kakashi pulled up his forehead protector, revealing his Sharingan eye. They stood across from each other unmoving, almost as if they were sizing each other up. On an unspoken marker, Konan flew towards Naruto, who smirked as he pumped some Kaden chakra through the blade, giving it a light red glow. Naruto slid under the paper kunai Konan had slashed at him with as thrust his sword up into her paper wing, detaching it from the rest of her body as she fell towards the ground, tumbling a few times before coming to a stop against a tree. Picking herself up off the ground, Konan spit a bit of blood out of her mouth before releasing her still intact wing. Glaring at Naruto, she made a few kami bunchins, paper clones, and sent two of them towards Kakashi, while she engaged Naruto again with the other following close behind. With Itachi and the others, Yugao, Guy and Itachi stood in a triangle pattern surrounding Kisame, who in turn just stood there with a smirk on his face. Samahata is hungry, Itachi-san. I've spent years studying the way you fight, figuring out way to beat you. Today is when I will see how far I've come. Kisame said as he pulled the large sword off his back, before the bandages fell to the side, revealing the large scaly sword. She has wanted to taste your chakra for a very long time now. I don't think I need to tell either of you to be careful from here on out. Kisame is one of Akatsuki's strongest members. Be wary of his sword, Samahata, as well. It's a sentient sword that eats chakra, growing in size as it does so. This fight would be best fought close quarters, but don't let his sword get too close or it will expand and he will be able to shave the skin off your bones with it. Itachi said as his onyx eyes turned Sharingan red. Yugao and Guy nodded before assuming their respected offensive stances. Guy was the first to move, rushing at Kisame from behind, hoping to catch the large man off guard with a quick series of jabs and kicks. Kisame was ready however and used Samahata to block Guy's attacks before swinging the large sword in a horizontal arc, attempting to shatter a few ribs. Guy was ready for this however, and dropped low to the ground as the large sword missed overhead, before using both hands to propel himself into an up kick that Kisame barely managed to dodge, moving his head back at the last second. Kisame then grabbed onto one of Guy's legs before throwing him over his shoulder, slamming him into the ground. Guy rolled out of the way as Kisame brought his foot down, creating a small indent where his head had just been, before distancing himself from the large shark-like man, attempting to regain the breath he had lost being slammed. "I won't be forced to retreat like the last time we fought," Kisame said as he looked at Guy, causing the green-clad Junin to raise an eyebrow at the declaration. "We've fought before?" Guy asked, causing Kisame, and to a lesser extent Itachi, to sweat drop. "All bronze no brains it would seem," Kisame said to himself before being forced to duck under a slash Yugao had sent at the back of his head. "It's not very nice to sneak up on people like that when they are talking," Kisame said as he attempted to sweep Yugao's legs out from under her before engaging her in kenjutsu, pushing the smaller woman back with his powerful strikes. Ducking and weaving between Kisame's strikes, Yugao waited patiently for an opening to use her speed for a counter-attack. The moment came when Kisame made a rookie mistake by overextending his reach with a stab, enabling Yugao to duck around the large man, leaving a large horizontal cut across his gut. The gain in momentum was only temporary however, as Yugao found Kisame's foot planted in her gut as he landed a heavy back kick and sent her skidding across the ground. Kisame smirked as he turned towards Itachi. The beast with no brain is still trying to catch his breath, while the pretty little kenjutsu user probably won't be getting up for a little while. "Looks like it's just you and me now, partner," Kisame said with a toothy grin as he rested Samahata on his shoulder. "Indeed," Itachi replied emotionlessly as he unsheathed the ninjutsu strapped across his back. It had been a while since he used this particular weapon, but he hoped it would be enough. "That puny blade won't work against Samahata for long, and I know to avoid looking at your Sharingan, Itachi-san. You may be able to catch others off guard, but it won't be as easy with me," Kisame said as he charged at Itachi. "You don't have to look into my eyes for them to be effective. I can still sense where your movements are coming from," Itachi said as he sidestepped a large downward slash, before slashing Kisame across the arm. Using his speed, Itachi disappeared from Kisame's vision, reappearing behind him and leaving a large diagonal slash along his back before quickly disappearing again. Growling, Kisame did a complete 360 with Samahata, hoping to catch Itachi as he reappeared. Much to his surprise though, Itachi reappeared momentarily on top of Samahata, before Kisame felt a sharp pain in his gut. Looking behind him, he saw a smirking Yugao, ninjutsu blade deep in the small of his back, causing his eyes to widen slightly before coughing up blood. "You made a rookie mistake, Kisame, believing an enemy was incapacitated without solid proof, and now you're going to pay for it," Itachi said, bringing Kisame's attention back to the older Uchiha, who was still standing atop Samahata, tip of his ninjutsu poised to strike at Kisame's jugular. "Hey," Kisame breathed out heavily, "it would seem that even after all these years, you're still stronger than me, Itachi-san. In a one-on-one fight it might have ended differently, but you were at a disadvantage from the start, fighting against a ranked shinobi as well as myself. You should not have come here, Kisame," Itachi said, but his eyes narrowed when he saw Kisame smirk. "Whoever said the fight was finished?" Kisame said before dropping Samahata, throwing Itachi off balance, and quickly spun to knock Yugao away again. "It was fun, Itachi-san, but you should know it won't be that easy to defeat me," Kisame said before gathering a large amount of chakra. "Sweden. Bakusui Shoha," Kisame shouted as he spit out a large amount of water before going through another set of hand signs. "Sweden. Daibakufu no Jutsu," Kisame shouted as a large torrent of water shot towards Yugao and Itachi, who quickly picked Guy up and got out of the way. "It would seem this fight is over, Yugao-san. We should wait for Naruto-kun and Kakashi-san to return," Itachi said as he looked out over the clearing, not seeing any traces of Kisame. I agree with Itachi-san, the two of us are in no condition to fight Yugao-san. Guy said from his seated position, I trust in both Kakashi and Naruto-kun, they will be fine. With Naruto, it would seem that Kisame was forced to flee Konan-san, I would recommend doing the same. Naruto said as he destroyed another one of Konan's kami bunchins with his ninjutsu. Kisame was fighting against not only Itachi, but two other high-ranked Konoha shinobi as well. I've got both you and Kakashi-san separated and that gives me the advantage. Konan replied as she sent a few exploding kunai towards Naruto. While I will admit the information we had on you was off, you have not shown me anything that leads me to believe you will defeat me. Naruto smirked as he used Kawarimi to get out of way of the exploding kunai before going through his next set of hand signs. Kirigakur no Jutsu, he said, creating a thick layer of mist that covered the clearing. It's a shame that you have fallen so far since being Jiraiya's student Konan-san. Naruto said through the mist, causing Konan's eyes to widen. I don't think this is the path he wanted you three to go down. I know that pain is just Nagato's puppet, but what happened to Yahiko? Jiraiya said there were 3 of you, but from Itachi's information there are only 2 of you left. I don't know what you're talking about. Konan said, causing Naruto to scoff. Don't play dumb with me, Konan, I know exactly who you are. Orphans from the Second Shinobi War, Jiraiya found you 3 and instead of killing you like his teammate Orochimaru suggested decided to train you 3. He had hoped that with Nagato's Rinnegan he would be the child of prophecy that the Elder Toad had told him about, but it looks like Nagato has succumbed to darkness and is now going down the path of self-destruction. Naruto said, earning a snarl from Konan. How dare you speak of Nagato like that? You have no idea what we went through as children. Yahiko's dream was to create a world of peace, but when he died Nagato took over his dream and is working on fulfilling it. Konan replied through the mist. By gathering all the Biju to create a weapon of mass destruction, I may have been an idiot before Konan, but even I know that creating a weapon like that will do anything but bring peace to this world. Naruto replied as he appeared behind Konan, slicing the back of her knee causing her to drop to one knee. I also know how the 2 of you came into power in AIM, destroying a major part of the village in your fight with Hanzo, killing lots of innocent families. Since then Nagato has ruled AIM like a tyrant, he may have freed the people from Hanzo, but they still live in fear of him. You have no idea what you're talking about. Konan shouted as she tried to stand, only to be struck down again. Naruto buried his fist in her stomach. I know more than you think, Konan-san, I'm not going to kill you, but when you return to AIM take a walk around the village, not as the angel, as they so appropriately call you, but use a henge and go as a regular civilian, interact with the people and see what they think of your glorious leader's rule. Naruto said, and Konan couldn't help but blush lightly at Naruto's choice of words about her nickname. While you're doing that, think about what kind of weapon Nagato is currently trying to build. It's a weapon of mass destruction, not a weapon of peace. What good would a world without wars be if there is no one alive to enjoy it? You know nothing of peace. Konan spat. You're absolutely right, I don't know what peace is, nor do I know how to achieve it. Naruto started, but I have people who believe that I will be able to achieve it, and I can't let my friends down. One last word of advice, Konan-san, be wary of the man with the spiral mask, he is not who he seems to be. There are larger powers at work in this world, and as of right now, Akatsuki is the least of my worries. That was the last thing Konan heard and her world went black as Naruto delivered a quick chop to the back of her neck before ending his hidden mist jutsu. Letting out a sigh, Naruto expanded his senses, locating Kakashi and the rest of the group back in the clearing they found Itachi in. Naruto used a shunshin to get to the clearing quickly, before doing a quick once-over of his team. Kakashi seemed a little tired and had a few cuts and bruises around his body. Yugao was breathing a little heavy and holding her side, while both Guy and Itachi seemed to be somewhat okay. How did it go, Naruto? Kakashi asked.